Another Sunday market breakdown. Now, we got quite a lot of pairs on the watch list. Nonetheless, a lot has to develop during the week. And if it doesn't develop during the week, then it was not my trade. First of all, New Zealand dollar, US dollar. Very simple. We're trading in a bearish market structure, and I can see the impulse, correction with the trend, switch of momentum, and a nice head and shoulder pattern with lots of room towards this inverse head and shoulder that potentially is working against me. Now, what is also interesting is that the top side of this head and shoulder pattern, this inverse head and shoulder pattern, already took liquidity, and the liquidity was not strong enough. When we arrived at this weekly IC, we got the strong bears kicking in, forming the nice head and shoulder pattern. So from there, waiting till the price comes towards our zone to look for an entry. Next on the watch list is Australian dollar, US dollar. It's a very straightforward setup. We have here our bullish M, 1, 2, 3, and we're currently at our 100 zone, and we have respected the 100 zone. We didn't break below the 100 zone, forming a fake out, but we have respected the 100 zone. Now, what can possibly work against me is that we are, first of all, it's a bearish engulfing candle. So this could potentially be further breakout, a head and shoulder pattern to grab some more liquidity towards here. So I will be extra strict on the 4-hour. When I go to the daily, nothing very interesting to see on a daily. We're still making higher highs, higher lows. So we're still trading in a bullish market structure. And we have a bearish flat wall. So we have a lot of room, especially on the 4-hour, to fill up this entire flat wall. So I will see how the market opens tonight. And yeah, the first possible entry will be at 3 a.m. next morning. So it's going to be a nice one. Then next on the watch list is the US dollar yen short. What can I see on the weekly is that we're currently trading in a bearish market structure. We did have a first time break, so we have to be extra cautious on the entries that we can take. And what can I see? Previous week we closed bullish engulfingly, ignoring this zone, completely ignoring it. So for now, I'm waiting till this 100 zone of the bearish W is being tapped to look for a potential entry. Also on the daily, nothing really much to see. We have a very strong bearish candle, one candle because of the news, and now the price is going bullish upwards, but pretty correctively. It's not saying that the bulls are very strong here. They're just correctively coming towards the upside. So waiting for my zone to be tapped. Then euro dollar, euro yen. Again, a very straightforward setup. What do we have? We're currently trading in this bullish yen. Now, 2 weeks ago, we got a bullish candle close and we took some deep liquidity here. And previous week, we're still above this zone. So for me, the liquidity from this zone has already been taken. So I will not look for 4-hour entries anymore unless we make the new action, unless the price goes deeper, triggers some new liquidity where potential buyers can kick in. But for now, I'm looking to the daily. Now, what do I see on the daily? I see that we have a bullish M pattern. 1, 2, 3. And I see the price coming back very correctively. So I draw my FIP from the high to the low. Daily FIP. And what can I see is that the first zone that's very interesting for me hasn't taken liquidity yet. So we have a nice bullish M. We have a corrective third leg coming towards the zone. A corrective fourth leg coming towards the zone, excuse me. And this zone is nicely aligning where lots of buyers sit. Strong push, support, rejection, support, nice liquidity. So when the price gets to our zone, same drill, looking for an entry. Then next on the watch list is Euro Swiss. What can I see on the weekly? On the weekly, I can see a nice inverse head and shoulder pattern. And we're currently trading at the top side from this shoulder region, from this IC. Now, previous week, I was already looking for a long setup. You had an inverse head and shoulder here. Didn't take it because the switch of momentum did not convince me. And right now, we're currently making a new action. But as you can see, this new action didn't trigger that much strong liquidity. The bulls haven't really kicked in. Otherwise, we would have seen a switch of momentum. So 2 things I'm waiting for. First of all, the new action. I want to see new liquidity triggered. only then I will be interested to go to the 4 hour. Or secondly, if the bulls decide to kick in on the daily, potentially a nice switch of momentum. Oh, potentially a nice switch of momentum. And then I will look for further daily patterns. Now, it is possible that the price will still come down to this region, but the 4 hour will tell us exactly that. Then GBP NZD. What can I see on the weekly? Bullish, 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 bullish trend. Now, we're still making higher highs, and higher lows. So we're still in a bullish market structure. Now, a couple weeks ago, actually in March, many weeks ago, we took some liquidity here, switch of momentum, and we have our bullish end pattern. 1, 2, 3. And currently, we're still trading in the fake out region. We have broken under the zone, but we haven't broken the actual structure yet. And what do I find interesting as well is when I draw my fib from the correction, I can see nicely a minus 27 fib completion. So I want to see some confirmation. I want to see the bulls kicking in. And what do I see on the daily? There's two possible options for me. On the daily, I will trade this inverse head and shoulder pattern because I have room until the weekly 100 zone. Or secondly, I will look for a direct 4 hour entry when I get the new action. So two possible entries, either the new action or the daily pattern. I will not go directly into the daily, even though there's an inverse head and shoulder pattern. I will wait for the price to come here, form an entry, and then I'm willing to take it. Could this mean that I will miss a trade? Exactly. But if it's not meant to be, then it's not meant to be. Then it wasn't meant my trade. Next on the list is Cat Swiss. Now, Cat Swiss, pretty interesting one. What can I see on the weekly? Again, bearish, 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 forever bearish trending. Now, when was this? Yeah. End of previous year, 2025 in December, we had a break. Break of structure here. So potentially we could have switched to a bullish market structure. Now what happened? We have 1, 2, 3. We took some liquidity here, not enough. Price had to make a new action with a body close, and here the bulls really kicked in. But what can I see is that the price did not manage to push towards this high. So this tells me like, hey, the bulls that were active here were not strong enough to push towards the beginning of the correction. So it could mean that the bulls either need some more deep liquidity or the bears are just very strong. Either way, my bias is short. Now, what can I see on the last couple of weeks? I can see a bearish W pattern. 1, 2, 3. First structure has been completely ignored. So I'm waiting for the second structure, which is this tiny. It's not really an IC, it's a structure, but with lots of support, lots of resistance, support, resistance, support. So when the price hits my zone, I will look on the 4 hour for an entry. Next on the list, AUD CAT, very straightforward setup. It's a weekly bullish gem, 1, 2, 3, waiting for the price to come back to this zone to look for a possible entry. Nothing special on the daily going on. On the daily, this is our high, this is our low. We potentially have a small head and shoulder against us, but we're trading from the weekly buys, which is long. So yeah, again, waiting for the price to hit the zones. Next on the watch list is AUD NZD. AUD NZD on the weekly. What can I see is that we had this bullish gem, fake out, engulfing close, and break above the weekly high. So the phase 4 trade has been activated, and we have room until the weekly TP. Again, I need to see some confirmation on the daily, and on daily, we have a push IC push. Now, I will not go directly on the push IC push because the risk to reward from this towards the weekly TP is just way too low. So I'm waiting for my 100 zone to be hit and form a possible entry. Again, will this mean that the price will tap the zone and shoot straight to the TP? That's a good possibility. But then I'm not involved, and that's it. And the next one on the watch list is Entity cat. Now, entity cat, straightforward again. We have a bullet gem. Let me draw it out. One, two, oh, three. A bullet gem. We did get a close below this first structure, so I'm waiting for this 100 zone to be tapped to look for an entry. Now, also very interesting, entity cat on this 100 level, lots of buyers, buyers, buyers. So a very good proven supply and demand zone from the past. So yeah, that is the list. It's a pretty long list, but as usual, the market needs to develop and needs to give us some possible entries. The key for us is to just remain very sharp and focused.